Hi everyone, my name is Carolina Oviedo and welcome to my presentation. In this video, I'll reflect on chapters 2 and 3 of Blandon's Algebra in the Elementary Classroom and on this week's Module 3 lesson. Together they show how we can design lessons that build algebraic thinking from the earliest grades. This week's materials focus on transforming arithmetic instruction into opportunities for algebraic reasoning. The goal is to help students see math as a connected system of relationships rather than a list of procedures. I'll discuss key lesson characteristics, how they foster algebraic thinking, how questioning supports reasoning, and how lesson design links to the module learning outcomes 1, 2, 3, and 5. In Chapter 2, Blanton reminds us that arithmetic lessons should go beyond practice drills. Instead, students should look for patterns and properties. For example, notice that a plus b equals b plus a. Dr. Liao's lesson script describes letting students make conjectures in their own words first, like saying you can add numbers in any order. Then we guide them towards symbolic reasoning using letters for unknowns, asking what could this letter represent? These conversations help students treat operations as relationships they can reason about, not just perform. The lesson also shows way to generalize arithmetic by making known quantities unknown. For instance, changing Marta has $6 to Marta has M dollars encouraged symbolic thinking. M plus 3 equals Nathan's money. Another strategy is varying a known quantity. For example, changing the price of a t-shirt and recording results to express a general rule like P minus 8. Both methods allow students to move naturally from numbers to variables. Activities that use balance scales or missing number puzzles help children understand the equal sign as balance rather than an operation sign. Chapter 3 in the Module 3 video shift into functional thinking, which is about how two quantities change together. The video used the example of dogs and eyes, showing that as the number of dogs increases, the number of eyes increases too. Students record the pattern in a table. Notice that each time one quantity goes up, the other doubles, and eventually write the rule E equals 2 times n. This moves them from seeing what comes next to understanding how variables correspond. Blanton connects this directly to NCTM standards about representing and analyzing patterns with tables, graphs, and symbols. These lessons foster algebraic thinking by encouraging students to generalize, represent, and justify. They use multiple representations, words, pictures, tables, graphs, and equations to make sense of relationships. Students learn to reason about variables conceptually, not mechanically. When we ask them to explain why a rule works, we strengthen their understanding of structure, which is at the heart of algebra. The Module 3 video and Platinum both emphasize the powerful teacher questioning is. Good questions move students from answer getting to reasoning, like, how do you know this is always true? Or what does the letter represent here? I really appreciate how Platinum encourages a classroom where explaining thinking is valued more than being fast. Purposeful questioning promotes mathematical dialogue and builds confidence in expressing reasoning. The design of these lessons follows a clear progression. Exploration leads to conjecture, which leads to generalization, which leads to symbolization. Students move from concrete activities with counters or drawings to representational models and finally to abstract symbols. The lessons combine visual supports, manipulatives, and student discussion, aligning perfectly with NCTM's process standards of reasoning, communication, and representation. This structure ensures that algebraic thinking grows from real understanding, not memorization. Now, in my personal reflection, as a high school Algebra 1 teacher, I can clearly see how these ideas connect to what my students need later. For example, I could use the dogs and eyes task to introduce linear relationships in a simple visual way before formal graphing. Encouraging conjectures helps my students see meaning behind formulas instead of treating them as steps to memorize. My biggest takeaway from this module is that algebraic thinking starts early, and we can nurture it by focusing on reasoning, not just routine. This presentation is based on chapters 2 and 3 of the Algebra in the Elementary Classroom. Thank you.